Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the Online Series 13 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, which I've linked down in the description below, we showed off a very fun team with Choice Scarf, Mew, as well as Genesect. Neither of these Pokemon are very common in Series 13 VGC, but this was built by Andre, a TCG pro, who actually got top 8 at Worlds this past year, and he's a big fan of Mew and Genesect. You know, that duo is very common in the trading card game. So we'll be playing a couple more matches with it today, and yeah, thanks to Andre for the team. Check him out, linked in the description below on Twitter. Thank you to you all, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your first trading card game pack or card was down in the comment section below, if you remember it. I think for me, my memory is kind of hazy. It definitely was like one of the, like Gen 2 or Gen 3 sets, but I don't remember the specific name of it, truthfully. So let me know yours in the comment section below, and let's get started. Okay, for this one, there's actually an Arcanine, which I haven't seen at all, really, in Series 13. I honestly just haven't seen it in months. Arcanine's one of those Pokemon that always is like either really relevant in a metagame or just not relevant at all. Partially, Incineroar was so good throughout Sword and Shield, but Arcanine was actually used, towards the beginning of Sword and Shield, so it's cool to see it here as we near the end of it. Otherwise, it's 5 restricteds. Okay. Zekrom is fairly scary here, especially if it's a physical variant. I think Zekrom actually messes us up really bad. Yeah, that's pretty concerning. I don't really see a very good approach in beating it other than trying to stall at its Dynamax, but I actually think we're so Zekrom weak here. I'm thinking maybe a Mew Evoltal lead, Volt Switch into the Policy activation. And in the back, I don't think Thundurus is really that good here, unless it were a special Zekrom. Definitely want Kyogre. Probably Calyrex. Astral Barrage in general feels strong here. Genesect is interesting, though. I'll bring Genesect mainly because while we're featuring this team, my goal is to just use Mew and Genesect as much as possible. I think that if they didn't have Yveltal, I definitely would bring Calyrex. I still think it's an okay bring, mainly because it's Focus Sash, so I can get 2 Astral Barrages off into Zekrom. I think that's fairly significant. But I think the best bet might be to use Mew and, I don't know, Volt Switch into Policy, Yveltal, and go from there. I could even use Mew to transform into their Zekrom. But they're going to go with Yveltal and Calyrex, which honestly I'm okay with. We'll see whose Dark Aura activates first here. I don't have to worry about Snarl from Calyrex as well, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, the fact that there's no Zekrom lead here I'm already happy about. And they've got a faster Yveltal. Okay. So I could self-Volt Switch, activate Policy, and Max Airstream. Yeah, I think that's the play I lean towards here. Volt Switch, Max, and just base 140 physical Airstream onto their Yveltal. I think the fact that there's no Zekrom lead here is already a positive sign for us. I'd love to get some more transform plays off with Mew in this episode. That'd make me really happy. Mew is just such an interesting Pokemon. I think there's so many different ways you can explore using it in Series 13, but ultimately it doesn't really deal that much damage, so you really need to get a value out of the support that it's doing, right? It's not like its base stats are bad, but they're just not really good either, right? So no Dynamaxes for my opponent's end, that makes sense. I think one of the upsides of, Yveltal in this format is that it's just so good in a Calyrex Shadow Rider, so I'm just not worried about my opponent's Calyrex here at all. I think the one scary thing you could do right now is maybe click Trick Room, but we'll see what they opt for. Okay, so they don't protect, they don't switch. Both Pokemon just stay in. I mean, I'll take it, I guess. Get a quick Policy activation. Now the question is, do I want to bring in Genesect or Kyogre? I think giving Kyogre a speed boost here is decently valuable. So we'll bring that out. Max Airstream should get a one-hit knockout onto their Yveltal unless they're Focus Sash, which could be the case. We've used Focus Sash Yveltal, at the start of the season. Huh. Okay. Speed swap. Into Snarl. That works for me. I think that makes a lot of sense because normally you're expecting me to be special Yveltal and then you're also expecting Mew to not have Choice Scarf. But this ends up working out really well for us because we're physical Yveltal. Nice. Yeah, that is as good of a turn 1 as I could have asked for, honestly, especially given team preview in this matchup as well. Like, I was like, hey, if Zekrom gets a lead here, I am just in a really bad spot. But no Zekrom, and turn 1, like, my opponent doesn't Dynamax, we just get a free knockout. Like, that's pretty ideal. Kyogre being at -1 is obviously not amazing for us here, but it still does decent damage. Like, Calyrex Shadow Rider is not exactly the bulkiest Pokemon, so, you know, max Airstream plus Water Spout will definitely still be a knockout onto that, and there's Zekrom. Okay. So Zekrom's what we were looking for. Like, I could max guard Yveltal here. I could Airstream Water Spout again. Truthfully, the play I want to make is Ice Beam into Zekrom and Max Darkness it right now. Like, it's physical Max Darkness, so even if you're Assault Vest, I don't care about that. And it drops your special defense as well, so then Kyogre gets a stronger Ice Beam off. The thing here is that the Kyogre doesn't really have speed investment, so Calyrex should still outspeed us, even though we're at +1. So they could get maybe another... Well, actually, it wasn't Calyrex that snarled, it was Yveltal that snarled. Oh, and Calyrex used Speed Swap, actually, as well. So for that reason, yeah, we actually should outpace. So if Max Darkness and Ice Beam just gets the KO, that would be beautiful. And yeah, I mean, Mew has done its job in activating policy. I think the other thing, once again, about Mew Yveltal is like, what in the world do you ever expect from that lead, right? If you haven't seen this team, like, it's very hard to have the foresight to expect Choice Scarf Volt Switch into weakness policy. So I think my opponent's turn 1 play honestly makes a ton of sense. Calyrex protects, beautiful. I have no reason to target Calyrex right now. Like, Zekrom was by far the biggest threat in this matchup. And I think if my opponent led Calyrex and Zekrom, I would have been in a much worse position. But yeah, now I just get a huge Max Darkness off into it. And this is one of the advantages of running physical Yveltal for us. Okay. Nice. We get Ice Beam off there. And that's a KO. That should be game over at this point, especially with Calyrex protecting. We can just Max Darkness it for a KO next turn. Maybe they have Focus Sash. That's fine. I can also Max Airstream. Give another speed boost onto the Kyogre. Ultimately, it was just, yeah, the surprise of the Choice Scarf Mew that really allowed us to win this game, I would say. Because I think my opponent was clearly expecting both of my Pokemon to be special attackers, right? And play towards that. Groudon comes out for my opponent. That's fine. Given the speed boost onto the Kyogre. We don't really even need to change the weather here. We can just click Water Spout into Calyrex and then Max Darkness here. Well, let's go for the stronger Max Darkness. Darkness should KO even if they go for a double protect here, but they'll probably Focus Sash, so bringing them down to 1 HP. But then Groudon eats up the special defense drop, and then I can just switch Kyogre out and back in. And then we have Genesect in the late game as well to attack the Groudon. That's part of the reason why I do actually like Genesect, because into Groudon, it can be solid in the late game, especially if you have the Rain up, right? Thanks to Technoblast. But they don't switch, they don't protect. Well, they can't switch here. They just don't protect. Yep, so Calyrex is down to 1 HP. That's the thing with this format, right? Like, Dynamax is just such a fast-paced... we get a critical hit there. That's one of the most overkill critical hits I've ever seen. Critically get a special defense drop onto both of their Pokemon, which is, you know, one of the main reasons why this team synergizes so nicely. It's actually White Herb on the Groudon. Okay, it makes sense. So, should survive Water Spout here, but Groudon gets 1 attack off. You can see Kyogre, like, outside of the rain, Groudon in the sun, we're at -1. Yeah, that's not even Assault Vest, but we don't really deal that much damage. But we just built up such a huge lead at this point, you know, doesn't really make a difference. Okay. And now we can just go for Lash Out plus Ice Beam for the KO. So, shoutouts to Mew for, you know, catching our opponent off guard and just enabling the weakness policy strat. I think Speed Swap plus Snarl is, you know... It's something I definitely did not anticipate ever, but it really wasn't that scary. It would have been a completely different game if my opponent Dynamaxed Yveltal and like Max Airstreamed on turn 1 as well. Although, like, their Yveltal was already faster than mine, so the idea of Speed Swap is for Yveltal to outspeed my Mew, but yeah. I'm curious what my opponent thought, like, the Mew set would be, because I know if I were to play against Mew, I legit would just have no idea, like, what it's even carrying. So, yeah. But Ice Beam plus Lash Out here should just be a KO onto Groudon, so, yep, they end up forfeiting. Ultimately, I think, yeah, like, Zekrom was a really tough matchup for us, but because my opponent didn't bring it out immediately, and we had, like, a very quick early lead, plus we got a speed boost onto things, we were in a much better position. But I think if my opponent just leads Calyrex and Zekrom, I have a lot of tough decisions to make right from the start of the game. But either way, we'll take it. Glad to get another win on Mew. Next game here, and we are up against Zacian, Calyrex, Kyogre, Yveltal, Groudon, Whimsicott. It's the same 6 Pokemon as the rank 1 team we featured, but I'm trying to remember if that's the exact same order that the team was in. Either way, how do we want to approach it? Zacian scares me. You know, the thing is, like, Andre, the original creator of this team, said that he leads with Thundurus and Calyrex a lot. I haven't really done that at all with this team, but it could be fairly interesting. Got Taunt. Calyrex could even Trick Room. Like, I keep playing towards a fast mode, but what if we play towards a slower mode instead, you know? Yeah, something like Thundurus plus Calyrex lead. Dynamax Kyogre. And then Genesect. I'm going to try it out. I think so far with this team, you know, we've explored a lot of different modes, but I have not explored the Thundurus Calyrex lead at all. And part of it is if our opponent does not know the Thundurus set and they think it's Defiant, they have to, you know, play a lot more cautiously around it as well. In fact, Defiant Thunder is actually pretty solid into my opponent's team here, but we obviously don't actually have it. But my Thundurus can Scary Face into their Zacian. It can Eerie Impulse, Calyrex, and Kyogre. Can Thunderbolt into the Yveltal. Honestly, I don't think Mew and Yveltal is that bad of a lead in this matchup either. But I want to try this out, so we'll see. Because, like, our Kyogre under Trick Room could be fairly interesting in this matchup, I think. Especially because their team index is more on, like, you know, fast Pokemon. Me, Whimsicott and Kyogre. Okay, I'm okay with that. Like, turn 1, honestly, I'm down to... I mean, if it's the Encore Whimsicott, that could cause me some problems, right? If it's Whimsicott, Kyogre lead, what do I expect in the back? Like, I could Scary Face here. I could, they might Tailwind. So I could Eerie Impulse. Eerie Impulse, like, I would still eat up a Water Spout, though, which isn't pretty. It's not a bad position to just get an Astral Barrage off here, though. Okay, I'm done at Eerie and Astral. Cool, they Tailwind, that's fine. I could have considered Trick Rooming. Yeah, maybe that wasn't a terrible option. We can look towards Trick Rooming next turn, I think. It depends on how much Kyogre does to us here at -2. Because they'll get Water Spout off, but I'll get Astral Barrage, which is pretty significant. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's huge damage onto Whimsicott. I've got Scary Face. Fairly sure that's... if it's the original version of the team I'd featured, it's Choice Scarf Kyogre, but I'm not sure that's the case. I think here I'm down at Thunderbolt Kyogre and then Protect. Best case is Kyogre survives just with a little bit of HP. They could switch out here, so we'll see. Yeah, Trick Room would have been okay on turn 1. But then the thing is, I'd have to be worried about Encore, so then turn 2 I'd probably withdraw the Calyrex out into Kyogre. That's not bad, but then I'd lose the Weather War against Groudon potentially. Slightly awkward. Yep, they Water Spout again. And it moves before Whimsicott, so confirms should be Choice Scarfed. Unless Whimsicott's really slow or clicking Trick Room here. I guess that could be the case. But I expect a Energy Ball into the Calyrex slot. Yep. Good. We're slowly stalling out their Tailwind this way as well, which is very effective for us. There's T-Bolt. Beautiful. Kyogre hangs on with just a Sliver, which is what we're looking for. Now I'm willing to Thunderbolt into Whimsicott, get rid of that, and actually Trick Room. Knowing that your Choice Scarf Kyogre, leaving it on the field with just a sliver of HP is actually beneficial for me. So, Water Spout is going to do negligible damage here. And I think Calyrex should even survive, allowing me to get Trick Room up, which is nice. There's Energy Ball. Ah. That's a bummer. I'm fairly sure we survived that, but I guess I'm not 100% on that. Whatever. It's okay. It happens. Yeah, Yeah, that definitely stings a little bit, because I think if we get Trick Room up there, then, like, my Calyrex can snowball with Astral Barrage. I have such good speed control. It's unfortunate. But I had the opportunity to Trick Room earlier in the game. I didn't even go for it, so. Zacian, Yveltal, Groudon could all come in right now. I mean, if I bring out Kyogre, I would win the Weather War, actually. Yeah, I'm okay with that, because they have Tailwind up right now, so Groudon speed would go first. Plus, I think the Groudon inherently just has more speed EVs on that team anyway. Yeah, they bring out Yveltal. Okay. So the Kyogre slot for my opponent is completely useless right now. They'll probably contemplate switching it out. Maybe Dynamaxing Yveltal right now. Thunders can't really do much in this position. I could see like Kyogre switching out into Zacian or Groudon here. Yveltal doesn't scare me that much. Could Thunderbolt, Hailstorm, Yveltal. Okay, I'm down to Thunderbolt, Yveltal here, Dynamax, and then Geyser into the Kyogre slot. The only downside is they could stay in with Kyogre here. Oh, interesting. Okay. That was a really risky switch. If I had just Geysered into Yveltal, Thunderbolted Kyogre, that's a double KO, and we win the game off that, I would think. But I'll take it, I guess. I still get a Thunderbolt off into the Zacian slot, which is some free damage, and I have Scary Face Pressure onto Zacian next turn. So it's not terrible. Okay. Since they did have Yveltal, though, I suppose if Calyrex got Trick Room up, it wouldn't have been necessarily, like, the best for us. But then, like, Thunders would be able to outspeed my opponent's Pokemon. Kyogre would outspeed my opponent's entire team under Trick Room. So, Water Spout literally did 1 damage to my Kyogre there. That's funny. Thunderbolt into Zacian's honestly really solid damage there. Yeah, I thought that switch was really risky because it could lose my opponent in the game, but actually ends up working out pretty well. I Geyser there just because I wanted to cover for the option of their final Pokemon being Groudon. Ends up not being Groudon, but that's fine. Tailwind Peters out. Now this next turn, you would think Zacian protecting is fairly obvious, right? But can't really, like, basically I either go for the Scary Face Geyser combination onto Zacian, but I could predict Zacian to protect in this position. If I were in their shoes, I'd probably protect and then max Darkness, personally. Do I want to predict protect is the question, basically. Because I have a free Thunderbolt plus Geyser into Yveltal right now. I didn't hard commit to one play here. I ended up just Thunderbolting Yveltal and Geysering the Zacian, but I don't know if that's the best play. I think it's better to just be fully committal here and like either read into Zacian protecting or not. But I think this play is okay. Question is, do I have enough firepower to beat Yveltal in this endgame now? Mew in the back would transform into their Yveltal would have been kind of interesting, I think. Okay, they didn't protect. So we'll get the KO onto the Zacian, which is fine by me. They actually blade into the Kyogre slot, but we're super bulky here, so yeah, that doesn't do too much damage. There's Darkness. Yeah, since they Darkness onto Thundurus, if I just committed and KO'd Zacian there, then I would have eaten up any damage, whereas now I'm at -1 special defense with Kyogre, and my opponent staggered their Dynamax by a turn, so I actually don't think this is super good for me right now. I should have just been more committal there and read into either Zacian protecting or not, but honestly, I think I would have read into it not protecting, or sorry, into it protecting and doubled up onto Yveltal, and that would have worked out even worse for me. Hence why I was like, I don't want to like fully commit to one or the other. Okay, now I bring out Genesect. Whew. So it's going to be a close finish. What do we get from download? It is an attack boost, unfortunately. -1 special defense. I mean, they could just max guard their Evoltal right now, or they could just max Darkness into Genesect. Trying to stall out Evoltal's Dynamax ideally. So, I think I'm just going to protect here. Go for Max Geyser. Mew would have been maybe better for me in this endgame. Okay, there's the protect from Genesect. They actually go for Airstream, which is honestly okay with me, into Genesect. Okay, that's super good for me, I would argue. The question is whether or not I deal enough damage to KO Yveltal in the long run here. Especially with me being at -1 special defense, it's looking kind of scary. It's really close, honestly. Ugh, it's not a ton of damage, yeah. Okay. My Dynamax ends. It's their last turn of Dynamax on Yveltal's end. Now you can max Darkness for a KO onto Genesect, presumably. They got a speed boost. Actually, Airstream to 29, so they might not actually KO with it. Oh, actually, you should always just Darkness here, though, so there's no reason to Airstream. I could have actually attacked with Genesect last turn, then. Got an extra attack off. Okay, we're going to go Bug Buzz here. And Thunder gives us a Para chance onto Yveltal. Okay, they do go for Airstream rather than Darkness. And we survive with 1 HP on Genesect! I think they should Darkness there, but yeah, maybe they got a little bit spooked out. Okay, we get Bug Buzz into Thunder now. That's not enough for a KO, but they're such low HP now. Yeah, I don't think Yveltal can heal back enough from this point. Oh my gosh, Genesect hanging on with 1 HP is huge there, though, giving me a little bit of extra damage. Gonna end things with a Techno Blast and a Thunder. At this point, like, I don't think Yveltal can win. Yeah, you have to Oblivion Wing. Maybe Oblivion Wing crit onto Kyogre is the only win con. But yeah, with Assault Vest here, we're just so bulky. Okay. If they had Darkness, the Genesect there would have been a KO thanks to Dark Aura. Okay, Genesect gets the Rain Boosted Water Techno Blast, and that will finish off Yveltal. So I am more than happy already. We managed to bring both Mew and Genesect into games today, and they were both Pokemon that, you know, helped us win the match. But Genesect being able to stall out Yveltal's Dynamax there was incredibly, incredibly satisfying. So I'm very pleased about that. Our third game of the day here. What? Pincurchin. I don't even remember the name of that first Pokemon. Pyukumuku? I legitimately don't remember seeing this since the beginning of Sword and Shield. So I have no idea what to do against it. So even though we have all these legendary Pokemon, I think we might get wrecked by it. I'm down. Pokemon? What is it called? I legitimately don't remember. Okay, Yveltal can kind of just blow things up here, but I do have to worry about Zacian, which I can speed control with Thundurus. I don't know, something like Thundurus Kyogre is interesting to me as a lead here. Yveltal. Let's bring Mew. Mew's fun. I think the Transform can be interesting here too. Yeah, I'm mainly just curious about the top 2 Pokemon on my opponent's team. This is a team that would have been legal in Series 12. We only have 2 restricteds, but there's definitely some crazy stuff here, and I have such little experience playing against the top 2 Pokemon that I might, you know, just get caught off guard. But they're good with Whimsicott and Porygon. Okay. I mean, that works for me. I can just taunt Porygon Water Spout turn 1. This could be Dynamax Porygon, by the way. If we see download here, I'm definitely inclined to think it's Dynamaxing. Okay, I don't think it's Trick Rooming here, honestly. Do I care, though? It probably has Physical Max Strike here. Got Taunt. Scary Face. I mean, maybe Whimsicott Trick Rooms here, I guess. Huh. I'm going for Taunt and Hailstorm on a Whimsicott. I don't think I agree with that play, but honestly, we're just kind of stuck on what to do here. It was the download, right? Because if it's not download, then I would just taunt the Porygon turn 1 and then Water Spout. But I think Porygon Dynamaxing here is actually fairly likely. The reason why I don't think taunt is very good on Whimsicott is because it only denies them one move, and that's Trick Room. Any other move, and Whimsicott just outspeeds Thundurus. So they are going to max. But I was thinking maybe one play they consider is Trick Room and Max Strike on turn 1. But that's kind of counterintuitive because then you would drop my own speed. I guess the other question is whether or not they do indeed have like physical attacks on the Porygon 2. That's what you normally see on Dynamax Porygon 2s like this. I think Geyser was probably just a stronger option into it, but I wanted to get rid of Whimsicott. Yeah, they go for Tailwind. Okay, I mean, I guess that's fine. We'll see if they KO the Thundurus here. We'll be able to one-shot Whimsicott. I just was a little bit nervous about Trick Room going up, especially with the Choice Scarf Mew waiting in the back, but I think this outcome is okay, honestly. And they target Kyogre. That looks like special damage to me, so it's like another Eerie Impulse, and this Porygon is just in really bad shape. I said another, I mean, it'd be our first Eerie Impulse of this game, but honestly, I'll take the straight turn 1. I don't think it's actually that bad. Okay, so they get a free switch into Kyogre or Zacian. They set up Tailwind, so even with Scary Face, I am not outspeeding the Kyogre or the Zacian, most likely, unless the Kyogre has literally no speed investment, or is like a negative speed nature. That'd be kind of surprising. This worked out, though. Like I said, though, I like that damage onto Kyogre was pretty small. It makes me think it's just regular, like, special Porygon, and if you don't have Giga Impact, then, yeah, they're in kind of a tough spot, honestly. Zacian comes out. Maybe I still want to Scary Face it. Like, I have Mew and Yveltal in the back. Because I can Scary Face Zacian, and then Mew can come out and then transform into the Zacian is what I'm thinking. So Scary Face and just Geyser double up into it here. Okay, they go for a Protect. Honestly, that's fine with me, because you're stalling out your own Tailwind. I'm mainly curious if Porygon can get like a one-hit knockout onto either Pokemon here. It has Hailstorm, so probably. I don't know, though. This is really bulky Thundurus. Nice. We hang on with 23 HP. Cool. That's sweet. So we heal up. I can just Scary Face Geyser the Zacian slot again this next turn. At this point, though, it's like, do I even need a Scary Face? Like, I think it's actually fine to just Eerie Impulse Porygon too, because it's pretty clearly special Porygon to me. The thing is that the Zacian could consider switching out into their Kyogre right now, but yeah, I'm down for Eerie Impulse on a Porygon, and then just Geyser into their Zacian. And if Zacian stays in, we are in such good shape, right? Because I would essentially KO their Zacian with Geyser and bring their Porygon down to -2 special attack going into the end game post Dynamax. And they can't switch it out if we get a KO onto Zacian. So that's where, yeah, Zacian switching to Kyogre here makes a lot of sense, I think. That is not Kyogre, though. It is the threat. I honestly cannot even name you its typing right now. So I'm excited to fight against it because it is such a wild card in this game. Anyway, Hailstorm knocks out the Thundurus. So, okay. I'm trying to remember if we've ever even featured it in Road to Ranked. Like in the beginning of Sword and Shield. Truthfully, I don't even remember ever using it. Hey, it took Max Geyser pretty well. That's a non-restricted Pokemon that you barely ever see. Yeah, taking only 45% from it. Although it did resist it. Yeah, I think we can just bring out Yveltal now. Although the awkward thing, I guess, is because I Dynamax Kyogre, regular Yveltal is really not doing too much for me here, but that's okay. We want to use the Mew to copy Zacian in the endgame. Porygon's at -2, so you would think they might want to consider switching out, but if they switch out and I get them, like, I just Water Spout on the switch in, they're in really bad shape. Yeah, this is just pure water typing. Yeah, I'm down to just lash out Water Spout here, because I think Porygon's feeling awkward right now. Might want to switch out, and these two Pokemon are relatively passive right now. I could always consider self-activating Weakness Policy on Yveltal, but right now I don't think that's worth it. Especially because our attacks are Lash Out, Sucker Punch. Oh! Let's Zap Cannon. And it paras me. Okay. That is scary. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. And I get parried. Okay. Well, this just turned into a game, didn't it? I just want them to activate the weakness policy on Yveltal, if anything. I think here I'm down to Lash Out and Thunder into this. Zap Cannon into Para into Recover, though. Oh, that was a turn. That was a turn. Although, I don't think Water Spout would have KO'd anyway, so I needed a Thunder there. But this is just kind of funny to me. Oh, there's Ally Switch, too. Ally Switch, Zap Cannon, Hailstorm, and a normal type attack. That is fascinating to me. It's honestly not bad damage from Lash Out and Thunder, though, so we'll take it. Yeah, like another Lash Out should just KO. Oh my gosh, it's trying to Toxic Stall me. Okay. Huh. Very interesting. Well, we know Porygon's moveset at this point. I'm down to just Lash Out. Thunder. I think they Ally Switch again, honestly. Still down to double up into the slot. This team is crazy. If we lose to it, honestly, like, huge props to my opponent. They brought 3 non-restricted Pokemon, and I brought 4 restricted Pokemon. Like, they're only not restricted Pokemon is Zacian, right? But this is the element of surprise. One, I just literally don't even know that Pokemon's name. Oh, nice. They don't even go for an Ally Switch. Okay, if we don't get Para, Thunder should just be a KO here onto this guy. Oh, actually, I said that, but I'm not quite sure about that. They're doing a good job playing around potential weakness policy on my end. I don't get parried, but I am actually not quite sure Thunder gets the KO here, so let's see. Okay, goodbye. This game is hilarious. Okay. Well, that's honestly not that bad for where we were a couple turns ago. Like, especially not knowing what this Pokemon even wants to do. And we know Porygon's full moveset as well, which is valuable. And you can't knock out both of my Pokemon here. So I feel pretty good about this position, but my opponent could actually still definitely win because I don't have that many good Zacian answers right now. For example, if they Ally Switch this turn and then KO Kyogre, that could be a big problem for me. I think I'm going to read into the Ally Switch because I don't think Porygon actually has a better play to go for, and I'm going to Origin Pulse here. Yeah, the other problem is with Mew, if I transform and they Ally Switch into the right slot, I am doomed. So, they don't Ally Switch here, okay. Where's Blade going into, though? They didn't play Rough Kyogre, and they target Yveltal. Okay. I mean, Origin Pulse just KOs you here, and they don't even knock out Yveltal either. I can still get fully paralyzed on Kyogre, though, which is the problem. If I get full parried here, I actually might just lose the game. But if I connect, I think we just win. Oh my gosh, another Zap Cannon connect. What's the accuracy of that again? Ah! Oh my gosh. Losing this, I won't even feel that bad. Like, it's just such an amusing team, but wow. It's like now I'm trying to read into the Ally Switches. I really didn't think they had any incentive to attack there, and I didn't call the Ally Switch correctly. Because if we knock out Porygon and it's a 2v1, I should still win the game in most positions. But now they can Ally Switch into me. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm going to transform here and Origin Pulse. All those para turns with Kyogre did not do me any favors. It's like, yeah, the combination of not knowing what my opponent's strategy was really here, Zap Cannon paralyzing me, and then into full para immediately, and then double full para throughout the battle. Although, like, we were paralyzed for a couple turns, so I can't, like, really complain about, you know, being paralyzed here and there. I don't even, like, Zap Cannon is one of those moves you see so rarely, and I normally expect Thunderbolt. Okay, they don't ally switch, so I actually do successfully transform, which is huge. Oh, I should have transformed into Kyogre. Oh, but they play rough, and they target Kyogre, and they Zap Cannon, and they miss Mew, and I miss Origin Pulse. What is going on? Yeah, it was actually correct to transform into Kyogre there, I think. We ended up getting bailed out, but if they had... I mean, actually, the play they made didn't even cover for transform, truthfully. Okay, so that's their moveset. Okay, I am going to click Sacred Sword here into the Porygon slot. Does Water Spout KO? It should if it's single target. This game is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. But yeah, if I transformed into Kyogre, like it resists Behemoth Blade. I think that's the main reason I'd want to consider transforming to Kyogre there. But now we should have the game won, I think. Yeah, Ally Switch is fine. The thing is, we know Porygon's full moveset at this point. We know it can't protect, which is the critical thing. So I'm always targeting a Porygon slot there to guarantee a knockout onto that or the Zacian should they Ally Switch. Oh my gosh, that was so intense though. What happened? We missed, they missed Play Rough onto the Kyogre, allowing me to get more free damage off. And that was huge because I got an Origin Pulse, you know. If the Play Rough just connects there, they would have... But I don't think they needed to Play Rough there. I think Behemoth Blade would have just done it there. And then they also missed the Zap Cannon, which prevented a potential paralysis. But that was way too close for comfort there. But I think the endgame shows how Mew is really interesting, right? Like, my opponent didn't even really respect Scarf Transform there at all. The endgame would have been interesting, though, if it were 2v1. If they knocked out Kyogre there, I would have had to correctly predict who was going to protect between Zacian or Ally Switch. And that's where, if I copy Kyogre, for example, I can just end the game with a Water Spout or an Origin Pulse, right? So, yeah, I misplayed the endgame there slightly. We got lucky. They missed their attacks, and it made the endgame easier for me. But, yeah, I mean, that game was just pure chaos. Like, so many Zap Cannons connecting, Zap Cannon para, dual para, and then that turn where it was just miss. Yeah, that was absolutely wild. But hey, we end up taking another 3 games here with the Mew and Genesect team. So huge thank you to Andre for the team once again. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And yeah, you know, you can use some wonky stuff in Series 13 and make it work. You just have to find, you know, unique ways to enable these Pokemon. So thanks so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.